Am I the butthole for not declining or signing over my portion of my ex-boyfriend's life insurance payout to his mom? I recently learned that my ex-boyfriend passed away of cancer in March. His mom called me last week to inform me of his passing and to inform me that myself and her are listed as beneficiaries on his life insurance from his employer. She instantly tells me that she doesn't know why he never changed it, but I can decline or sign the check over to her once I receive it. Instantly, I am in shock. He's gone? And he left me on there? Why? I went back and forth wondering if this was on purpose or accidental. It has been years since we mutually civilly split up. I was informed he had a new girlfriend that lived with him, and she has 2 kids from a previous relationship that threw a wrench into things more. Is there a reason she never got put on it? Was this all just a big mistake? Today it has been 1 week, and this has been very hard, especially since his mom has been terrorizing me all week trying to get me to agree to give her this money. She has said the most hurtful things, and she has sent me the most disrespectful photos and videos of her son in his last moments. As of right now, I haven't even gotten in touch with the insurance company. I have no idea how much this is, or if I need a lawyer help at this point. Well, today is the day I woke up knowing 100% I am keeping this money and I am not going to feel bad at all for helping my family with a gift my ex left for me. Unfortunately, part of me still wonders if it's the right thing to do by my ex, and if these were his wishes in the end. A little info to add, my home burned to the ground 3 years ago in July, and October 1st, 2 years ago, my mom passed from cancer as well. It has been a long, hard few years, and this money would literally buy myself a new bra for the first time in 3 years. My little clan could really use this money, and I think my ex knew that. No, I think it's just a big mistake and you're a horrible person who is taking money from his 2 kids. Yes, they are not his biological kids, but he was raising them together with his girlfriend, and now you're taking away the money. Oh my god, you horrible, horrible, horrible person. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, because I really want to get to 200 subscribers as soon as possible. Am I the butthole for telling my stepdaughter she can have her passed away dad pay for her wedding? I may have gone too far. My now wife divorced her ex when her 3 kids were young. He had problems with substances. She met me a few years later and we dated for 2 years before she introduced me to her kids. 2 kids really hit it off and Kelly did not like me. Just passive-aggressive stuff, but it became much worse when her dad passed away. She did not take it well and resulted in a lot of outbursts. I wasn't living there at the time. She went into therapy, but overall didn't seem like it helped. She threatens to run away if I married their mom. So I stayed away but continued to date their mom. Over time, the 2 other kids started to stay at my place in order to get away from the drama. It was a rough time for them and we bonded even more. When Kelly was 18, the 2 of us decided to stop putting our life on hold and get married. Kelly hated this. The other kids were happy though. Every interaction I have had with her has been unpleasant, and I do not see her as one of my kids. I eventually adopted her siblings when they were 16 and 17. They asked me. During that time, she destroyed a lot of her siblings' stuff for betraying their dad. Now I rarely see her, and I prefer it that way. The 2 kids have an on and off relationship. I paid for my 2 kids' wedding. I got a call from her asking me to pay for her wedding, since I paid for the other 2. I told her no. This started an argument about how it's unfair. I had enough and told her to have her dad pay for the wedding. She hung up after some lovely names. I may have gone too far, which makes me a jerk. Well, was it the most smart thing to do? No. But were you justified to say no when she asked to pay for her wedding? Absolutely yes. Am I the butthole for not allowing my son and his fiancée in my house because they don't treat my wife like a grandma? So my son Mason, who is 25, got with his fiancée pretty young, at 18. Now, would I had agreed with this choice especially for a kid who was in engineering and in a top university? No. But he seemed happy, and that's what matters to me, just as long as he didn't forget about his studies and himself. My wife, on the other hand, didn't. She wanted him to do the same as our eldest two did. No dating, just focusing on school and coming out with amazing grades. They had a big argument about not only his choice of dating, but his girlfriend Tracy also. Nothing racist, my wife and his girlfriend are the same race. They barely argued, so this didn't hurt their relationship much, and they moved past it. What set it off was when Mason was able to qualify for an engineering program abroad for about a year. Me and my wife were obviously excited since this would do great in his future. He would come back at least once a month, and though I wished he spent more time with us, it was normal that he would spend that time with Tracy. Well, while he was still abroad, Tracy approached us and told us she was pregnant. I was excited, but my wife was skeptical about the pregnancy and asked her straight up if it was Mason's. Tracy got offended and they argued. She got her parents involved, who were all saying their daughter would never sleep outside of relationship and that my wife just didn't want Mason to step up for his own kid. I told them that it was natural to get very since Mason was barely home and we could all solve this with a DNA test when the baby is born. Tracy and her parents were against this idea, but after talking to Mason, he agreed, though he was a bit disappointed in his mom. Skip 9 months and a couple more weeks for the DNA test, and the baby was his. My wife apologized and now just wanted to move on. Tracy didn't. She said she didn't want my wife involved since she stressed her out during the pregnancy, and since she doubted her own granddaughter, she shouldn't get to be in her life. My wife was absolutely broken by this and kept asking for forgiveness over and over again, but Tracy and Mason refused. It got to the point she would cry herself to sleep, and it really broke me. I called Mason to come to his senses, that his mom was just worried about him and wanted to make sure that he wasn't trapped with a baby that wasn't his. He argued that she needed to hurt a little for the pain she caused Tracy. What pain? She just didn't interact with Tracy till the baby was proven to be Mason's. I called him dumb for allowing Tracy to continuously disrespect his mother like this. I told him that until he sees his mom like a son should, he and Tracy are no longer welcomed into my house. This was her house too, more in fact, since she stays home and I won't have her feeling insecure in her own house. He got mad and threatened to keep my grandkid away from me, but at this point I'm not going to be manipulated. I told him if he wants to cut me off and live happily ever after with Tracy and her family, he can do so. I hanged up. He blocked me. I don't think I was wrong. My other kids are on my side and think Mason is just getting manipulated by Tracy and her family. My youngest, though, thinks I shouldn't have banned him from my house. Am I the butthole? I don't understand the purpose of this post. You said that your son can forget about you and live happily ever after with Tracy and her family. That's what he did. Why are you not happy? Well, I guess the reason of your unhappiness is because you wanted to manipulate him, so he would give up his opinion and stop protecting his wife. But he did not do what you wanted, so now you're unhappy about that. Well, joke's on you. Am I the butthole for accidentally raising my voice at my wife and throwing away her dishes and clothes because she won't wash them, just buy new ones? I am 28 and I have been married to my wife who is 30 for 2 years now, together for 5. We were going to start trying for a baby, but that got put on hold and might not happen anymore. My wife and I both work and we make about the same amount and work about the same amount of hours. My wife and I originally had a chore system set up where we just rock, paper, scissors the calendar for our days off. We got a pretty fair cut, I want to say, but she did get more dishes days. I got more, if not all, the laundry. My wife hates washing dishes. She hates it with such a passion that she sometimes just shuts down and cries when she sees them in the sink. Before, when I caught her crying, I immediately went to help her, switch chores for the day, calm her down, and then it was fine. But because I was doing this, I noticed that she was crying on purpose, so I washed the dishes. I knew she was faking it because the second I took over, her tears stopped and she'd go do something fun that she liked without a care in the world, laughing and smiling. No wind down like before. Because of this, we changed our dishes to whoever makes the dish washes it, with the exception of cooking. Whoever cooked doesn't have to wash the pots and pans, because they put all the work in for dinner. This was also her suggestion, which I was more than okay with. This was working out for a little while until I noticed that my wife made a lot more dishes than me and just didn't want to wash them. I asked her when she planned on washing dishes after I made dinner at her request, and she blew up on me, telling me to quite literally F off. I did as she said, but left the dishes. The next day, she asked me why the dishes weren't done, and I told her because she didn't do them. She started a fight and I washed them, but I was unhappy. I do most, if not all of the laundry because she just won't anymore and I refuse to wear dirty clothes. The only thing she has to do with the laundry is put it in the basket. That's it. We have a basket for darks, colors and whites. She insists on her own basket for underwear and whatnot, so that is own thing and I hand wash it. She's been not putting her clothes in the basket. At first, I picked up all of her clothes and washed them because it was no big deal, but when I watched her take her clothes off and just leave them on the floor because I always pick it up, I chose to leave her clothes there. She asked me why her clothes weren't done. I said because she didn't put them away, and she blew up on me. Same story. Recently, this all came to a head with all the fighting. My wife has been getting lazier and lazier to push back because of our fights, and at first I was doing all of her chores on top of working, but I had a little moment of, why am I even doing this? And just stopped. The dishes piled, her clothes were dirty, crumbs were everywhere on her days. On my days, everything was spick and span. She decided that she's going to just start buying more dishes and clothes to combat not doing her part. I cannot tell you how frustrated this made me. She was buying plastic spoons and forks, paper plates, Walmart t-shirts, and whatever other cheap alternative to the nice ones she has at home. I just decided to start tossing them. When she noticed that I was tossing her cheap alternatives, she blew up at me again, and for the first time since we've been together, I raised my voice. My voice is deep, and I'm a big man, so this scared her, which I regretted. I immediately lowered my tone and told her that she just isn't doing her part and that she's wasting money buying useless things when all she has to do is just clean up after herself and put clothes in a basket. She cried, and despite how many times I apologized, she told me that she doesn't feel safe with me and that maybe we're better off divorcing. This shattered me. She's been cold with me, sleeping on the couch, and playing domestic mistreatment signs videos out loud. It's such a low blow. The videos usually talk about yelling, throwing away items, control, emotional mistreatment, and signs that they are going to get physical. I don't think I'm wrong for what I did, but she's really wearing me down, and I have been getting some texts here and there from our families calling me a butthole, a mistreater for throwing away her things and yelling at her and that she needs to divorce me. The yelling was an accident. No one has wanted to hear what fully happened, and it's making me feel alone and a bit crazy. My friends are either staying out of it or are on her side if they're women. I've been losing friends. I feel like the butthole now. Am I the butthole? All I wanted was for her to clean up after herself. I'd never hurt her, and I've never yelled at her before, which I do regret. I didn't mean to scare her. I was just beyond frustrated, because this has been building for months. I get that I was probably immature to throw away the disposables, and that I should have just cleaned up after her. But I was just frustrated. Well, people all over the comments saying, oh, just divorce her. Why do you need that kind of woman? Wow, people, you're so fast to jump the gun and divorce everyone. What I think is that if your wife hates washing dishes that much, maybe you just have to do it. And the laundry will also be up to you. But at home, we have so many chores she can take up on vacuuming, picking up the clutter, dusting, washing floors. I am 100% sure that it is possible to divide the chores between two of you the way that everyone will be happy. But as for her behavior after you yelled at her, several sessions of couples therapy can help with that. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can also watch that awesome video or this awesome playlist. See you next time!